What's up, gamers? How you doing? In this video, I'll be reviewing the new Amiga 500 Mini. This is by a company called Retro Games. In case you're curious what I have in front of me, this is what the original Amiga 500 is, and this thing is huge. It's gigantic. Came out in 1987 initially. Lasted about 7 years. 1992 was discontinued. It came out after the Commodore 64, which is their most successful line by Commodore. This was huge in Europe. It did decent in North America, but I'd probably say more popular in Europe than here in North America. A great computer. Memory-wise, it had anywhere from 512 kilobytes to upwards to 1,024 kilobytes, which is today's standards nothing. I think they had, you could expand it up to 512 megabytes, which is essentially, I think, half a gig. So it's really wasn't much in today's standards, but really great computer nonetheless. The Mini comes with 25 built-in games, which really is awesome. You can expand it up to with ROMs using a USB port, which I think is really cool that they did that. This is a line of other popular Mini consoles and computers that came out since the Nintendo NES Mini, which was a huge success for Nintendo. Of course, we had the Super Nintendo Mini, then you had the Genesis Mini or Mega Drive Mini. We had, unfortunately, the PlayStation 1 or PS1 Mini. That wasn't great emulation at all. That's what these are running off. These are running off emulation, hence why I can load ROMs and all that good stuff. But I feel like the built-in 25 games are awesome, are good choices anyway. And so we're gonna share what it comes with. We're gonna do an unboxing, go from there. Thanks for watching, guys. Okay, so let's do an unboxing. Here it is. It comes with, as I mentioned before, 25 built-in games. It comes with a mouse, which is awesome, and a gamepad, joypad, and what else? Let's see here. These are the list of games that came with Another World, which is awesome. Azul, Worms, Pinball Dreams, Simon the Sorcerer, Sentinel, etc. Okay, I'm gonna show you, put this up after this and show you more detail. We're gonna dive into California Games. Stands out to me. It's a great game as well. Let's go and open it up. Here we have it. Obviously, significantly smaller than the Amiga. I must have one of the first versions of the Amiga 500 because mine just says Amiga. It doesn't say the A500, but there are versions out there that have this and logos changed. This keyboard, this is not functional, unfortunately. So it's just more for aesthetics, more for looks. Neither the disk drive, hard disk drive, non-functional. There's no like mini disk drive or anything like that. On the back, you have your HDMI, you have your power source. It looks like it's USB-C. You have three USBs, right, ports. I guess two of them one for the mouse, one for the joypad, and one for your USB if you want to load ROMs, which is cool. It gets a nice rubber padding on the bottom so it doesn't slide around. You have a serial number. I'm not quite sure how many of these they made, but I have 48,535. I'm not sure if that means they made 50,000 of these or not, but that's the serial number this is. Okay. You have a quick guide instruction manual here, in multiple languages, of course, starting with English, pretty easy to set up. If you've set any of these minis up before, this should come pretty standard. Let's take a look at the mouse. Open this up. Full-size mouse, which is awesome, very old school looking, and plenty length on the cord, which is appreciated, right? That's awesome. So that's great. We got two clickers here. What else does it come with? USB, which is great, or I'm sorry, not USB, it's an HDMI cable, which is great, and it matches the color tone of the system, which is cool. All right, let's also take out the joypad. Now, the company Retro Games, they also have a VIC-20 they're working on, or it's coming out soon. Here is joypad. Let's take out the wrapper here. Feels, full size, so it's awesome. It's obviously USB connectable. And you get the different the color buttons here. That's what the Amiga's controllers were like. And the two RNLs, left and right. Menu, home, okay. Plenty of length on the control joypad, which is awesome. This is for your charging. Plenty of length on here. Let's open this up. You also have a USB adapter for the power. USB-C to the system. This is to your adapter. Now, I guess they assume that most people already have a USB adapter to the wall, if most of us do, but does not include it. So trying to cut costs there, I suppose. And it is what it is, but if you don't have an adapter, you probably have to get it at Amazon. They're pretty cheap, fortunately, but unfortunately I have plenty of adapters. And so let's plug this in the wall, let's turn this thing on and take a look at the menu. Thanks. you first set it up, you have to select your language you want, as well as your screen settings, the size and resolution, all that good stuff, right? So here are the games. Set up like most mini consoles, really easy. All the games are alphabetical. You have save spots, so each game has up to 4 save spots. You can change display settings as well. You can do fixed size, moderate size, or screen fit, which stretches the screen. You can add CRT effects, which adds the scan lines. Enabled image smoothing, which I noticed a huge difference when I tried that. Let's go check out what first game. Let's check out Alien Breed, Special Edition 92. Assuming this game came out in 92. I'd never played this game before personally. Games load really quick. It shows you what kind of how many players it takes. It also shows you what kind of controller it uses, whether it's a controller or a mouse. Here it is. This gameplay reminds me a lot of, if you ever played the game Gauntlet, it reminds me a lot of that. Like top down, there's aliens that come after you. Really fun game. Again, I love the sound of the Amiga 500. I love the color palette. I mean, this game or computer came out during the time of the NES, right? The Genesis, and graphically, audio-wise, it was so superior to home console at the time. It wasn't even close. And the Amiga 500 had just a lot of really fun games. So the point of this game is to get those key cards and advance, of course. Let's check out, here's the alphabetical order. Let's check them all out. Battle Chess, Cadaver, California Games, which is awesome. Used to play that on the Commodore 64 quite a bit, of course. Been ported to a whole bunch of different classic games. California Games is also ported to the Atari Lynx, which I had. I think it was a game that came with it when I got my Lynx back in the day, which I love my Atari Lynx. Here's some other games. Speedball 2. I do want to mention also, when the Amiga 500 first came out in the market, it retailed for $700 US. At the time with inflation, that's close to $1,700 today. So it certainly wasn't a cheap computer, but keep in mind, it wasn't just for playing games. People actually did home programming. They had like word processor and different things like that. So it was your home computer at the time. Here's Another World, which in North America is known as Out of This World, which was ported to the Super Nintendo, among other platforms. If you ever played games like Flashback as well, that was kind of like this as well. But what I really liked about this game, it's a platformer, but the cutscenes you can see here, the movement, super realistic movement, which is awesome for when it came out. Graphically, it won a bunch of awards. Story's great. Definitely a game to check out if you haven't played Out of This World or Another World. I'm really glad this particular game is included in this set. I think the selection games in the A500 Mini are pretty decent. Only 25 games total, though. Keep in mind, Commodore 64 came with 64 games, and a lot of other mini systems and computers comes with more games. So this only comes with 25 games total. You can add more ROMs, use a USB drive, but they don't give you really instructions on how to do that, unfortunately. Here's Arcade Pool. Let's check it out. You can use the mouse. This is one of the games you can use the mouse. Let's change the displays. Let's change the settings real quick. Advanced options. Go to here. You can do sensitivity of your mouse, volume control. We'll turn on the CRT scan lines, kind of see if you can see the difference. Arcade Pool. Let's continue. There's no start button on the controller. The start button where it should be is the menu button. So I oftentimes inadvertently hit that and went back to the menu button. I guess it does kind of technically pause it, but it's a little confusing. Kind of get used to. Here's a top-down pool game. It's red versus yellow. Moving on, this is California Games. This is a really fun game. A lot of fun memories playing California Games. Commodore 64, as I mentioned before, among other platforms. And this is a great port. You can do all events. You can do single events, do practice. I'll show you a couple. These games are pretty challenging. These events are pretty challenging. We'll try foot bag. The point of this one is really to keep the bag above as many times as you can. It's hitting them. There's like birds that fly by and things like that. And it's timed. You get points for every time you hit it and multiple times in a row. But it takes a look. I'm using the joystick or joypad here, and it takes a little bit used to timing wise. Here's surfing, and surfing is always tough on California Games because you got to, when you take off at a certain angle, you got to land at the same angle that you take off. The only California Games I'm aware of that's not the case is the Lynx port is much better in that regards. See, I didn't land at the right angle. It's kind of frustrating in that regard. Got to keep the speed. There I took off, landed the same angle. I didn't really understand why that was the case when playing surfing. Music's awesome though. All right, here is the Chaos Engine, which is a game I never played before, even heard of before. It's going to load here. Here it is. And this is your typical like top-down shooter, which is pretty fun. Really enjoyed the graphically look of it. You can play co-op on this. It does come with only one controller, USB controller. You can purchase, I suppose, an extra controller to do two-player. You have different characters to choose from. They all have their different attributes. Come with different weapons and abilities, which is cool. Seems like a really fun game to play co-op with. It's got a very steampunk feel to it. I'm kind of getting those steampunk-like vibes. Hard to shoot at certain angles is possible, but it's kind of tricky to controls. You can't. When you shoot, you stop. So it's a little hard in that regard. The controls are a little bit more difficult in that regard. Let's move on. Let's change the settings a little bit one more time. Let's go to turn off CRT. Let's turn off smooth image scaling. Turn CRT back on. See if there's a big difference. Let's check out Project X. Man, this game, graphically, I can tell, looks pretty cool. I can kind of see the scan lines. It's very subtle. All right, yeah, this is a space shooter, which is awesome. Now the screen is kind of small. You can stretch it out, of course. There's settings you can do that, but you can see it's kind of small. Oh, like I just got hit. Here is another really fun racing game that's on there. It kind of reminds me of, what's that classic Atari racing game, like Stun Runner, or I can't recall it, but it kind of reminds me of that. Graphically looks really fun. Go and drop it. Kind of cool graphics. Hard Driving, that's the game I'm thinking of. The Atari Hard Driving. Yeah, that's what this reminds me of, graphic wise. Make sure you stay on the track. Oh, I got a jump coming up. A really unique racing game. Yeah, really smooth scrolling though. Really impressed with the graphics here though, for this game. Ah, nice. If you're not going fast enough, I imagine you can't make that jump. Oh, here we go. Oh, beautiful. It's called Supercars 2. Okay, check out this one. It's a platformer. Titus. Definitely see the scan lines. It's taking a little bit to load this game. Here we go. Titus the Fox, another game I've not heard of. It. There is a password system. Oh, and if you hit the kind of the select button, you can actually open up your keypad, your keyboard. So essentially, because the keyboard is not functional on this Mini, you can in some cases you need to type in it. So that's how you would do that. I played this game for a little bit. I was a little confused on the attack and how you can't really jump on enemies. You can't really attack enemies. I'm sure you can get weapons later on, but here's the last game I'm going to show you. This is Zool, which is ported to a bunch of other computers at the time and consoles. But Chupa Chups, this is sponsored by Chupa Chups, which is funny, and it's got kind of a candy theme. It's a platformer. Really fun game as well. Prepare yourself. You guys can definitely get the idea. Now I want to share with you my conclusion. So in conclusion, what do you think about the A500 Mini computer by Retro Games? I forgot to mention earlier that this retails for $140 US, so it is on the more steep side when it comes to mini products that's out there. I like the fact that it's expandable. You can add more ROMs. I think that's great. They don't really show instructions how to do that in the instruction manual. Some of the games I noticed are asked for passwords or passcodes, and it was hard to navigate. Some of the games were great. I really enjoyed some of the games and liked the options where you can add scan lines, all that good stuff. is it worth picking up? I do like the mouse. I think it's cool to have actual mouse. Only a few games work with the mouse. The joypad, though, that comes with, I don't recall seeing a joypad like this for the original Amiga 500. I think this is like custom for this product. There was a handful of other like third-party joypads and controllers back in the day, right, that they could use. But I can see why they added this. This is more modeled after the Amiga CD32 console. And I don't like the home button. It's where the start button is, and there was a number of times in multiple games where I try to hit pause or start to skip something, and I go back to the home button. I think the home menu, I think that's really annoying. I hate that fact. I really do. I think that's lame. But overall, it doesn't really ruin the overall experience for me for this. So if you're a huge fan of the Amiga computers, this is definitely one to check out. I like the fact that they're making new products like this because it gets people who may never played the Amiga before into playing it. The Amiga came out in the time in the late 80s. Graphically, it was superior to any home console to market, and that was the case with the computers through the 90s, 2000s, etc. And the Amiga definitely has some great games for it. I really hope at the end of the day that it gets people playing it more and checking it out, because there's a lot of hidden gems, so to speak, for the console. Here's one thing I want to show you. There's an on and off button switch here. I didn't show you that before, and this does light up when it's on. Build quality is okay. It's pretty good build quality. I mean, I like the touch detail with the keyboard, but again, the keyboard doesn't really function at all. It's more for looks. Obviously, a lot smaller than the original hardware itself. If you have an opportunity to pick one up for a decent price, I definitely recommend checking this thing out. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. What other mini consoles would you like to see? Obviously, we have TurboGrafx-16 came out, and there's other ones in Neo Geo. For me, I'd like to see a classic N64 Mini, Nintendo 64 Mini. I think that'd be really fun. I'd love to see a Saturn Mini, a Sega Saturn Mini. I think that'd be awesome as well. I'd love to see Atari Jaguar Mini too. I know that system didn't really get much love, but there's quite a few games on there that I enjoy, including Tempest 2000. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate you guys commenting, subscribing, of course. We'll see you guys soon. Take care and game on.